वेलकम बैक टू द चैनल एवरीवन। होप यू आर डूइंग एब्सोल्युटली फाइन। आज जिस टॉपिक पे हम बात करने वाले हैं, इट्स अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल एंड इट्स वेरी क्लोज टू माय हार्ट बिकॉज आई रियली लव working with these people who are actually working on this particular idea. So I'm talking about homemakers. You know, COVID-19 has restricted us within our premises, but it should not affect our cash inflow, right? And that's what even our homemakers think. So there are many homemakers who are currently working with Grow Machine, and everybody is starting their own food business while sitting at home. So today's video will be totally on that, and it will be a very detailed step-by-step video where you will understand how exactly what are the steps you need to take, what is the first thing that you need to do, and what is the last step that you need to follow in order to set up your business. So before starting, please subscribe to the channel and hit a like button if you really love this. Share it with your friends and stay updated. For that, you need to click on that bell icon. So as I always say, let's get started. Welcome back everyone. So in today's video, first we are going to discuss about the initial setup. Next, we are going to discuss about how to obtain your food license. Then हम बात करेंगे about how to register your restaurant on Swiggy or Zomato or indeed both, right? Next हम बात करेंगे कैसे आप इसको market करेंगे in the form of offers or on social media, right? Next we are going to discuss about the profit and loss statement, where we will be discussing about what are the expenses, at the same time what are the revenue what are the different kinds of revenue that you might get from your restaurant, right? And last we will be discussing about how can you upgrade your license to a higher level, right? And I'll also cover the different types of license that are involved while setting up your restaurant. So let's get started with the first step, that is doing the initial setup. The first point that we are going to discuss is the initial setup, right? And when it comes to initial setup, the first thing that comes to mind is food. Now for preparing food, either there are two choices: either you are a chef yourself or a good cook, right? And you are pretty confident about your cooking, that people will admire and people would like your cooking. And secondly, if you are not, and if you're just a businessman and understand that yes, it's a profitable business and you want to get into that business, then you need to hire a cook, right? So number one, you need to do that. Number two, you need to decide the menu. Now there are restaurants where we have all more than 100 to 200 items. Even there are restaurants where you will get only one item and they might be specializing in that particular food item. So it totally depends on you. And personally speaking, nowadays people in India, in South India and Northern India, they have their own cuisines, and people really love to specialize in one particular category and be best at it. And even when people do business with us, we also suggest them the same thing, because you know, when you have 200 100 to 200 dishes, at times your speciality somewhere gets diluted. So you need to understand that specializing in something is always good, right? The next thing that comes in the initial setup is to understand that first of all you need to decide the pricing for your menu, right? And for deciding the pricing, you need to understand the cost, which we will cover as part of when I discuss the overall turnover in detail, right? The next step, the step two, that I was talking, was obtaining a license. If you're able to see my screen, this is the um, page where you can register your restaurant, and you can get a license for it. Okay. The first thing which I need to clear out before starting this is there are three types of license. Okay. One is the general registration you do, and that is the basic license, which is applicable for restaurants who are having an annual turnover of less than 12 lakhs. So if you scroll down, you'll see there is a section for select turnover. So if your turnover is less than 12 lakhs per annum, then you are basically eligible for a basic license. So everyone should at first go for this basic license and apply for it. then if you see that in the next year your turnover exceeds 12 lakhs and but is somewhere less than 12 crores per annum, that is when you need to take the state license. So state license helps you or gives you the permission to actually operate within the state, right? The next one is the turnover more than 20 crores. Now let's say you have a business and you develop a business whose annual turnover is more than 20 crores per annum. Then the first thing is you can operate in multiple states, and you don't need to actually take license for each of the state. You can directly apply for a central license. So this is the one where you apply for a central license, and once you get a central license you can operate throughout India, and you don't have to apply for multiple license in different states. Okay, so you need to select the option which is applicable to your business, and then you need to select what is the nature of your business. Whatever, are you a manufacturer or a hotel or a restaurant, you need to select from here. Okay, then you need to come down, you need to mention your business name, which is fairly optional because at times people register much before they even start their business. So the license is in your name, so you don't have to worry about it. You need to mention the address, you need to mention the details, whatever is mentioned over here. And once you do that, you need to click on submit. Now once you click on submit, you will be the verification will be done, and once verification is done, the people will be visiting your address and they'll be verifying whether you are eligible to get the license. Once you get a license for it, now see, if I show you this, what are the different types of license? As I said, this is the basic license, right, which is less than 12 lakhs, the state license and the central license. Now if you see the fees for it, it is 1,999 for 5 years. This is validity is 1 to 5 years. Okay, this is 2,999. So as and when your turnover exceeds, you need to apply, you need to upgrade your license. That is how it is. Okay, and this is 3,999 for someone who is having a turnover of more than 20 crores and he can do business. Now once all your verification is done, now this is the sample certificate that you will that is shown over here, and this is the kind of certificate that you will also get once you are done with all the procedures. Okay, so this is how you basically get a license for your business. The next step that we are going to discuss now is to register our business on Zomato or Swiggy. Today's example I'll give of registering your restaurant on Zomato. You can follow the same for Swiggy as well because the interface is almost similar and the options you need to select are fairly similar in both. So I would give you a demo of how to register your restaurant on Zomato. As you can see my screen, this is the page where you can add your restaurant. Now the first thing, as you can see, is the restaurant name that you need to fill. Secondly, you need to mention the city that you're operating from, and are you the owner or the manager, right? If you are not the owner or manager, you can mention straight away. If you are the owner or manager, which by far most of you are, right, then you need to select and you need to mention your phone number, your email ID, right, and then you need to mention your phone number over here, right, which is your business phone number basically it means, and you need to mention it over here. Opening status, let's say you are about to start your business, you can mention it, you can click this option, and if you have already opened it, then you need to click on this option. Okay, if you go to additional info, now without even, this is an optional field, and without even like filling this, you can add your restaurant. And what the Zomato people will do, they will visit your place and they will have a thorough check on whether you are eligible, and once the verification is done, then your restaurant will be added on the Zomato website. Okay, now if you see the optional section here, you need to mention the address or landmark, right? Next, you need to, the question is whether you serve alcohol. If you serve, then you need to click on this, and once you click on this, you'll get options like whether you're offering wine or beer or full bar, or you only serve cocktails, right? The next, you need to select the services that you offer. So it might be breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever, based on your choice, you can select over here. Seating, is seating available? If yes, then you need to select this, else you need to select no seating available. इंडोर सीटिंग, आउटडोर सीटिंग जो भी है आपको यहाँ पे सिलेक्ट करना है। फिर आपको पेमेंट अपना सिलेक्ट करना है कि आप कैसे पेमेंट एक्सेप्ट करेंगे। सो आर यू ओनली taking payment via cash or card and cash? Usually card and cash is the best option that like people prefer, right? Then you need to select what are the cuisines, right? So there are different cuisines you have over here. So let's say you are offering only Indian, then you can select Indian out of here. If you are selecting, if you are let's say you are also offering Japanese, you need to select that. If you are only a juices corner, you need to select this. So according to what kind of a restaurant or a food joint you are, you can select over here. The timing, you need to select what are the days that you are off and you're open. So that is something you need to mention, and when you mention the time, that is the time period up till which it will show on the Zomato app that you're open. Next, if there is a website, you need to mention this, and then the restaurant email ID. Uh, Ideally, you should create a professional email ID for all your professional mails that you get, and you need to add your restaurant to the Zomato website. So it's a very simple process, and uh, let me clarify this. I know many people have this questions, and this question often comes to us: is do we need to apply for a license before adding our restaurant to Zomato? The answer is no, because you can start your business, and as and when you develop your business, you can parallelly apply for a license. So we understood how we can add our restaurant to Zomato. The next thing is to understand how the marketing works. Now, when you add your restaurant to Zomato, you also get a chance to create some offers. Now, if you are a restaurant who is at the entry level, I mean, you're just starting, it is always advisable to reduce your profit margin a bit, but offer quality food. You know what happens is when you offer quality, the chances of the customer coming back to you irrespective of the offer is higher, and that is what you need to do. But at first, the customer needs to have a taste, have a flavor of how your food tastes, and for that you need to give him a discount. And that is when you create some offers on the Zomato app, and then the restaurant I mean the customer gets your offers, he takes food, he likes the food, and then slowly and steadily your business increases, and that is when you can maybe juggle up with the offers, you can maybe reduce the offers, and that is how you can increase your profit margin. Okay. Now there is a different totally session I take with many of my business owners on pricing of their food items, because that is something which is case to case basis. It's not something I can generalize as such, because I need to understand what type of food, what is the cost involved in the ingredients that people use, and the overall pricing, because each person have their own taste, they have their own way of cooking, and depending on that we actually set the pricing. Okay. The second option, which comes under marketing, is the social media. Now, social media for food restaurants is, I would say, a very easy thing compared to other businesses. Why? Because first of all, um, pictures of food items is really catchy, and it really draws attention if you are actually taking it from a good camera, and you are posting it properly. So first of all, the first thing you need to do is to create an Instagram handle. You need to create a Facebook page for your restaurant that is fixed, right? So you should have it. It's always advisable to have a website, because if you have a website, it gives your customers a view of what kind of dishes you do, or maybe if you are expanding future, then they might get a view of what all cities do you operate. But that is a very futuristic plan. For anyone who is starting afresh at a very decent level, I would suggest a Facebook page and a um, Instagram handle should be good enough. The second thing you should have is a business WhatsApp account, where what you can do is, what I normally prefer to my clients is, you can have your business account over there, and you can respond to the queries of your customers in case they have any. Let's say their order is delayed, or maybe you don't have that particular item and you want to text them, so you can use your business account to actually get in touch with them. Now, once the marketing is done, everything is done, now your business is working. Now, this section which I'm going to cover right now, where we are going to discuss the profit and loss statement for your account, here we are going to discuss about what are the areas in which, what are the different categories, which are the expense categories, and what are the income categories for you. So, please understand whatever things I'm covering as part of this is something which I'm considering taking into account a homemaker's restaurant, and I'll also cover some other areas. But I would say if you want to set up a full-fledged restaurant, it will be much more. The investment will be much more, of course. So let's start with that. Now, as I said, we will be starting with the profit and loss. So when we say profit and loss, how is profit and loss calculated? It's simple: revenue minus expenditure. Okay, so since, as I always say, since expenses are the first thing that we do, I would first try to cover what are the expenses that we would be incurring as part of setting up a restaurant. Now, the first basic thing is rent, which is nowadays optional, because even you can operate from your own home. So if you are operating from your own house, then definitely rent is not a big issue. But yes, many people don't prefer operating from house, because if the volume of food, the quantity of food that you're cooking is more, then you need to cook it in large vessels, which is because of which people prefer to take a small house, and then they use it for all their cooking purpose, because it, the kind of smoke and all. Okay, and it's not good for your house to have that atmosphere all the time, right? So rent is the first. Now, the second component that we are going to understand is the salary. Now, salary is a very subjective thing, because let's say you have your people at home and together you are cooking everything, then I don't think salary would be much of an issue. But if you're hiring someone who is cooking for you, then definitely salaries will be something you need to take into account when understanding the expenses. The next point is your ingredients. Now, I've always talked about working capital expenses. So these are something primarily are working capital expenses. Indeed, in fact, all these expenses that I have jotted down are working capital expenses, but this is the primary thing, because this you need to buy on a daily basis. Because if you're setting up a restaurant, you don't want to use old vegetables or old meat, right? You would want to use some fresh vegetables and fresh meat. So ingredients for food items is very much required, and you need to understand how to calculate it. Now, when you calculate the expenses, try to take a reference and then calculate. As I said, I take a separate session on only this pricing of your food items. So make sure that if you visit our website and take our business consultancy plan, make sure you are going to get a session for this, and that session will help you understand how you can manipulate your profit margin, how you can introduce offers, at what point should you introduce offers, and it will help you actually increase your profit margin from month one itself. Okay. Now, rent, salary, ingredients. Now, as I said, there's an option for if you have seating arrangements or not at your restaurant. Now, if suppose you are only delivering and you are not having any seating arrangement, then that won't be considered as part of it. But if you are actually having some seating arrangements in your restaurant, then definitely you can add that as part of your expenses. That will definitely form a major field, because that will be like, if you would not set up a seating arrangement for one or two, it will be like a big area, right? So try to include that as well as part of your expenses. Okay. Then comes your licensing cost, which I have already shown, and as I said, it's on average 1,999, 2,999, and 3,999. So that also won't be a big issue. Next, we are going to talk about revenue. Yeah, and under expenses, since we are talking, marketing also comes under expenses, because when you are let's say marketing on social media, and you're creating some ad campaigns, a Facebook ad campaign or an Instagram, I mean Facebook, Instagram, you can generate the same ad and push it on both the platforms. So you can create Facebook ads, and that will actually help you in getting the market, and that's pretty easy. It's just that you need to understand how to do targeted marketing. If you want a session on that, definitely we are having it under our business consultancy plan, and we do it one to one. Don't worry, we don't actually do it on a generalized basis, we do it on one to one basis. Okay, now the next section is the revenue part. Okay, now for revenue, it's a very simple thing. Now you would say that I price my good as per my competitors, but I also give quality items. And how will you give quality items? By reducing your profit margin, of course. That's the very basic thing. Now, the second point is, when you are pricing your item, do you see if your customer is coming to you just for the price or for the quality? Now if he's coming for the quality, be rest assured he's going to stay. Now when calculation of revenue is concerned, you need to understand that you need to set a parameter. Let's, for example, 1 month. So in 1 month, what is your revenue? In second month, what is your revenue? And you need to see how the graph is moving, because when you see the above expenses are fairly going to be similar. If you are, unless and until on the ingredient side you or marketing side you are going to push it up, it's going to be fairly similar for all the months. But revenue can differ, because if you are increasing your margin, it might increase, and if you are reducing your margin, it might come down as well. Okay, so one is your revenue from selling. Okay, second can be your revenue, where you can have, you know, joint collaboration, right? If you can have some DJ, or if you are setting up some restaurant where you can have some stand-up comedy sessions and all those things, if you want, then you can give platforms to the stand-up comedians, you can give platforms to people to showcase their talent, and you can generate revenue from that as well. Revenue from stand-ups. The next important thing is you can have your own YouTube channel, which can be used to popularize, first of all, to popularize your restaurant. Secondly, it can also be used for monetizing, right? So these are some ways in which you can like divide your revenue and expenditures, and based on that you can generate your profit or loss. Okay, so depending on that, please understand how to calculate it. As you saw that we are done with understanding how to calculate our profit and loss, you need to understand that your revenue for that year, that is your annual turnover, is something you need to keep track on, because as I said, whenever you feel that your revenue is exceeding 12 lakhs, then you should go and apply for a state license. Then the people, the personnel, they will visit and they'll see the potential whether you're going to actually surpass that 12 lakhs turnover in next year or not. If they feel you cannot, then you stick to the basic license. If yes, then you go for the state license. Similarly, if you are going for a central license, the personnel will come and they'll verify whether you are capable enough to cross the 20 crore benchmark. If you are able to do that, then you'll get a central license, else not. So these are my simple tips how we can set up. As I said, this is just a high level planning for knowing things in detail, for understanding how to price the goods, how to do marketing, how to do targeted marketing so that you are targeting the right customers. Please go to our website, join the business consultancy plan, and see how it works. Okay, and if you want to have a test, then please go for the free consultancy plan. Our experts will contact you, our consultants will talk to you and understand your requirement. Based on that, we can suggest you a plan, and we can also have customized pricing if you want. So thank you for watching this video, and please do like, share and subscribe to our channel, because that helps us in making more videos for you, because the ultimate motive of Grow Machine is to spread entrepreneurship, and that is how we can get our GDP up on the right track. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you up next time. Bye bye.